Hey friends, welcome again to my channel. Thank you as always for checking in here and just kind of having a conversation with me. I guess it's a one-way conversation because I just like to talk to you guys, but thanks anyways for coming by. Today, I wanted to share with you a couple of things that I did to help my mindset get a little more excited for this upcoming school year. We are going into our 6th year of homeschooling, and every year is always a little bit different. But this year I have been feeling really overwhelmed, I guess, to getting ready to start another school year. And so I had to go through a couple tips, a few tricks. I did a little bit of research and implemented a few things that really helped change my mindset. So if you feel like you're struggling or overwhelmed or not super excited to start a new homeschool year, then hopefully these few tips that I tried might be helpful for you as well. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, so before we get started, I have 5 tips that I'm going to share with you guys, but let me share with you a quick backstory as to our 2020 school year, because it really plays a role as to why I was feeling the way I was feeling here as we begin 2021's school year. So 2020 was probably our best year yet, but it was different in so many ways. When the fall hit, we sold our house and we went on an extended road trip. We went back east and we explored and we saw and we did all the things that my road tripping heart ever wanted to do. And then when we got back in our second semester, we were living in the basement of my in-laws' house while we were finishing this house we're living in now. And so just everything as a part of our school year that I'm familiar with, that I like to implement, was completely lost, and we were just down to the bare minimums. So all that being said, when we were getting ready to start this next school year, I was still holding on to a lot of baggage from last year, feeling like, I don't know what to do, and I don't really know what we covered last year. I didn't know a lot of anything. And because last year was so fluid and so just kind of hopscotchy, that I just felt like we had missed a lot. So in preparing for this school year, here are a couple of things that I did to help me get really excited. And as I filmed this video for you guys today, I can genuinely say, I'm so excited to start our school year. We're starting in 2 weeks as I film this today. So, all right, tip number one is to set realistic goals. Make sure that when you prepare to jump into a school year, whether you're a brand new homeschooler or a seasoned homeschooler, or you have other aspects of your life that are going to be a part of your homeschool year, whether it's a new baby or a move or grandparents that are living with you or whatever it is, you need to make sure that you set goals that are realistic to what you want to achieve. This also encompasses the curriculum that you're going to be selecting. Don't overextend yourself thinking you're going to cover 100 subject levels and all of the extracurriculars and electives and all of the things because you want to provide your child with the best education. It's not realistic and it's not necessary. So for me, coming off of a school year that was very hopscotchy and very fluid, and a lot of our subjects were experience-based, I wanted to make sure that I maintained that fluidity and not tied down immediately to what I was used to by committing to extensive goals. Like, we're gonna finish, all of these reading books, and we're going to do all of these, art activities, and I want to make sure that my kids are in gymnastics and piano and sports camps and all the things, because now we're stationary. So make sure that as you begin to think about your homeschool year, make realistic goals. How much time you're going to commit, what days you're going to do it, how much curriculum you're going to cover, those types of things, and don't go into it thinking that it's going to be this absolutely perfect year. So that was my first one. The second goal that I had was to get organized. This was key in my mindset shift because for a long time I had been kind of I don't know, I guess stiff arming the planning and organization of school, because we're going into our 6th year. So a lot of stuff I feel like, oh, we've kind of got that settled. We know how the process goes. And so I wasn't exactly like sitting down and actually touching our curriculum or picking anything out and all that kind of stuff. Well, when I finally decided I needed to change my mindset, that's exactly what I did. Is I sat down and I decided, number one, how am I going to plan this school year? Like, what exactly am I going to do? And I printed off my planner, which I think I have it right here. Boom. Like, I just printed off this planner. I had these extra, like, this is from the Happy Planner series, and I had the hole punch, so I just like threw it together, and I was like, okay, like, I'm ready. I'm gonna start organizing our school year. And then I started thinking about, what do I wanna do for family school? What kind of subjects do I wanna make sure that my kids cover? And for us this year, I have 3 main subjects. What electives am I going to plan, and how are those going to fit in? So using the goals that I set, I then began to organize, what is this year going to look like? And when I will go ahead and I film it every year, so you can expect it this year as well, how I planned my entire school year video. And I am doing it really quite different from what I've done in previous years for a few reasons. My students are older, I want something fresh, I'm using different curriculum, so it's a little bit harder to organize the way that I used to. I want to instill different qualities and skills in my kids. So it will look a little bit different, and that all blossomed from this second tip, from getting organized and really starting to, for me, it's writing it down on a pen and paper, watching a lot of YouTube videos, what are other mamas doing, what resonates with me, how is that going to kind of translate into our home and our curriculum and our belief system. And this all takes time for sure, but instead of sitting down and just watching my current season of the Survivor series, which my husband and I are now addicted and going through, while that's playing in the background, I will have my thoughts kind of over here thinking about and planning out homeschool. When I do it that way, I mean, that style may not work for you, but when I do it that way, it's very like hobby-ish, it's fun, it's carefree, it's not like as regimented as me sitting in my office, for example, or here in my homeschool room and like planning it out. That comes in another step. So that's my second tip. My third tip is to keep a routine. And routines for me are super important, and they help my kids thrive. My children thrive under a routine when they know what comes next and they know what to expect. And sometimes this doesn't mean that everything is very regimented. This doesn't mean that I put everything to a timetable, but it's the flow of our day and incorporating school as a part of it. Now, I have grandeur plans of how our summer looks, but without fail, as we get deeper and deeper into summer and the activities and the house guests and the travels, that our summer basket always ends up by the wayside. And that's because I am less structured at making sure that there's a routine around it. So when homeschool season comes and our school year begins again, it's really important for my success to say, these are the patterns of our day. First, I wake up and I have my personal self-care. This includes my Bible time, my workout routine, and getting a healthy, well-rounded breakfast for my children. And then from there, we have our morning musts. And then from there, we all sit down for family school time. And I generally try to start the day at about the same time every day. And this helps us kind of flow through our school day in the morning so that by the time lunchtime hits / those early afternoon hours, then we're finishing school and we're free for the rest of our day. So setting up a routine for you and how that works for you is going to help you be more successful and more excited, because then you'll be able to feel how the flow of your day is going to actually work. So instead of like right now for me, where summer seemed like the hours just seem to fly by and I'm doing a hobby or I'm, tinkering over here or I'm puttering over there. And then before I know it, I'm like, well, it's lunchtime and we haven't done anything but get dressed today. So that's my third tip. Tip number 3 is to invest in learning. This is probably the I don't know, next to getting organized, this is like something that really like power boosts me into getting excited for the school year. And that is when we order all of our curriculum and I purchase everything that we're going to use for the school year. This is usually done over the course of one weekend, sometimes one day, although the planning and the buildup is many, many weeks before. I usually sit down in one day and just order a giant order of curriculum. There are 2 websites that I recommend to order your curriculum from. I love Christian Book. I also love Rainbow Resource. They're typically a little more discounted. Sometimes they're the same price as what the publisher would sell, but they just have such a huge array of options. Now, not every publisher under the curriculum sun is going to be offered on those 2 websites, but if you are new to homeschooling, I would recommend you can check those websites out for some discounted, minimally discounted. Sometimes you can get free shipping. Get on their email lists because they'll always send you those shipping codes and that sort of thing. So ordering curriculum when it starts piling in, and then you can start like going back to organizing it and putting it all in all of the files or trays or folders or however it is you organize your school year really helps motivate you. And I'll be honest, I was kind of sluggish and unmotivated several days ago. And then when my curriculum started being ordered and delivered, and here in the next couple of days, I'm having another huge order delivered to my house, it just kind of ignites this excitement. And those of us that are seasoned homeschool moms know that talking about curriculum is, next to talking about your Disneyland trip. I love it. I love talking about it, which is why I talk about them in extent here on my YouTube channel, because it's just really fun for me and I enjoy it. So when you invest in curriculum and invest in your learning, then that's when the excitement really starts to show up. Are there free resources available? Of course there are. And those resources can also bring excitement because they're new and fresh and exciting. But as the saying goes, you get what you pay for. And although free resources can be abundant and good, there's, good, better, best. And sometimes you may just be getting stuff that is just so exciting and fun and wonderful when you choose to invest in it a little bit. So that doesn't mean to say you have to buy the most expensive stuff, because that's out there too, for sure. And it's usually outside of my budget, but you do you. So, okay. And this is going to be my last tip. So I've given you 4, quick review: set realistic goals, get organized, keep a routine, and invest in learning. Okay. So my 5th tip is going to be designate a homeschool space. And it doesn't matter how big or how small your home is for your homeschool area. Some people do it at their kitchen table. It may be around the couch family room area that you have your homeschool time in, but you need to have a small space where you can keep your homeschool curriculum, the books, the pens, the pencils, the rulers, the calculator, extra paper, all of those things. I know that IKEA sells those like 3-tray caddies that are very compact. You can just roll that into the corner right next to your kitchen table if you have a super small space. But having a designated area all organized and ready to go really helps you feel more excited and more ready to start a brand new school year. You want to get new pencils, even though you may have a ton of old pencils like we do. Throw out the old ones and get new ones. New crayons. You may have a huge tote full of crayons that are broken and ripped. Throw them away or melt them into new crayons and get something new and fresh and exciting. New binders, or even if it's the old binder, but just put like a new page in the cover thing so that it's just new and fresh. Because those types of excitement, it's like that for public school kids, right? Like it's the newness of something fresh that's going to launch you into a brand new school year. So for us, a little personal story here is last year we did not have a homeschool space, nor did we have any homeschool designated area because we were constantly moving on our road trip. And then we were living in a very small basement that was always being used for the homeowners' uses as well. So it was always just really hard. So moving here, I was still holding on to that baggage of not having a homeschool space. And my dream has been to have this homeschool room, which is designated specifically for homeschool. Again, we've been teaching now, this is our 6th year going into homeschool, and I am just now getting some of these dreams realized, like my dream homeschool desk and stuff. So it's not something that happens right away. This has been years in the making, but as soon as this space has begun to come together, and as I get our posters on the wall, we just barely put up the whiteboard last week, it really begins to feel more exciting because the room is coming together and our space of learning is beginning to, show itself. So that really has helped propel my motivation. And I've even been like saying to my children, like, I'm starting to get really excited for the school year to start. And before I wasn't feeling that. I was feeling really like dragged down and I don't want to. And let's just, go to the lake again today, or let's go camping because I want to relish in this summer lifestyle where we're not schooling as much as I had planned to back when I had planned our summer basket. So anyway, it's just been such a change of mindset. And now I can genuinely say, yes, I'm super, super excited. So hopefully one of these 5 tips, maybe a few of them, you can implement and help you get excited and ready for a brand new school year as we begin to collect our curriculum and designate our space and set realistic goals. And can I even add on to it, just like verbalizing with our children and telling them that as the parent and the teacher, we are excited, and that excitement is contagious, and your kids will get to be excited too about it. So anyway, those are my few tips for starting a brand new school year and kind of gaining some of that momentum. Hopefully you found it a little bit helpful. If you are new, I invite you to subscribe to my channel. Our Homeschool Life is a series that I run every school year as I talk about the things that we're doing in our school and how the curriculum is working and what in detail are we doing and what did we drop, and kind of all of the fun things that are going on our side of the mountain. I love to share that kind of stuff with you. So if you're interested in that content, then subscribe and stick around. So thanks guys, and we'll catch you in another one.